As the note of desolation finishes playing, Rose Lalonde makes good on her threat to write that Spurb walkthrough. While she comes to the conclusion that Spurb is what's ending the world, she tells her reader not to blame themselves because the game is also the only way to ensure survival. John Egbert ain't in Washington anymore, as his house now sits on a precipice above the clouds. The kernel divides, one part going up to the sky, one going down below, and one unfinished ghostly kernel sprite is left with John. Somebody is trying to prompt John pretty hard as the boy wanders around the house during a walk-around flash segment. There are oil streaks everywhere, and John's bunny and dad are missing. All scurried out, John returns to his room and chats with Rose. Rose confirms John's neighborhood is gone due to the Spurb meteor. Also, she was working on a birthday present for John, but hasn't finished it yet. Because it's still 4/13! John's able to get the PDA again thanks to a precarious walkway, and that voice in John's head is only getting ruder. Turns out that voice is our wayward vagabond, prompting him from a bunker in the not-so-far future. Rose continues her game FAQ. Too bad none of the kids on Earth are gonna use it. She notes the encroaching forest fire and the fact that her laptop will need to be powered by the generator near the mausoleum. In other words, she needs to GTFO. Meanwhile, she and John are trying to finish prototyping the kernel sprite, but it keeps evading them with clownish antics. It bumps into Nana's ashes, though. Oh boy. They decide they also need to get that second beta disk that's in the car before Rose's house burns down. The front door is still blocked, but Rose has an idea. I sure am totally beginning to believe that Dave doesn't give a crap about any of this, as John leaves his McConaughey raps on red. Rose tries to bring the car to John, but her laptop loses power, dropping the 4-door into the abyss. On cue, Jade returns. Turns out the earlier explosion by her house was caused by meteors. She's okay though. Someone called Beck is keeping her safe. Jade is so sure John's gonna save the world, but first he needs to pester Dave to use his copy of Spurb to enter the game and save Rose. Turns out Dave lost his copy in some totally reasonable way, but he'll try to take his older brother's copy. He's not looking forward to that. Back with Rose and her dead laptop, she's prompted to allocate her Strife specibus. The universe refuses her grimoire, so she equips Needlekind instead. To be fair, the zoologically dubious creatures in the book look pretty messed up. What's with that weird page? Finally, Rose is ready to make her way to the generator, prepared to face the storm, and most certainly her mother. Oop. Who's this insufferable prick? Actually, it's pronounced Dave Strider, thank you very much. Dave likes music, preserving dead things, photography, and making ironically humorous websites and profiles, and of course, rapping. You can tell this takes place sometime in the near past because Dave still has his beta, and he just found some apple juice. He goes to message John about it immediately and super subtly wish him a happy birthday while he's at it. After that rehashed conversation, Dave spends some time in online spaces, including his Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff webcomic and the MSPA Midnight Crew storyline. What is even going on? Past Rose pesters Dave, trying to get him to play Spurb with her. Dave says no, but promises to play if Rose's life was ever on the line. Your terms are acceptable, sir. Back with present John, something is leaving an oil trail right back to his room. Back with past Dave, he plays some sick beats and refuses to drink the apple juice. Thanks, John. Oh, and Dave's Strife specibus is blade kind, by the way. Unfortunately, capture logging his sword ejects the apple juice, getting it all over his turntables and beta discs. He goes to get a towel. Wow, Dave's bro sure ironically likes puppets. After more shenanigans, Dave manages the mess and hangs the beta envelopes up to dry by the open window of his high-rise apartment. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, crap a crow. Dave stops the bird and defenestrates it and the discs. So that's what happened. Back with present Rose, wizards! Rose hates wizards. And her mom. But Mom Lalonde seems to really be proud of her daughter, including gifting a giant princess doll that Rose knit into a squid in a fit of passive aggression. She capture logs some items and Mom jump scare. Rose youth rolls out of there. Back with past Dave in his newly taped window, Jade messages him. She somehow knows that John will lose her birthday gift, but will get it back when it's needed most. She also hints at having a weird pet and an intense grandpa. Current Dave tells John that he's gonna get his bro's Spurb copy. Bro is definitely hiding nearby, as Little Cal, Bro's favorite puppet, is still in the living room. John thinks Bro's white guy rapper with a ventriloquist dummy shtick is stupid. Maybe John's stupid. He's also worried there's a monster in his house, but that'd be silly. Right? Back with Rose, her escape was futile and she's forced to Strife her mom. Some of Mom's arsenal includes encouraging teen drinking and gifting her daughter a pony. Mom, satisfied with her Strife, goes back to housework. Rose names the pony Maplehoof. Meanwhile, John gets ambushed by an imp, and it has the bunny! John tries to swing his sledgehammer, but he's a weak, newly minted teen, and his hammer breaks. It takes John using his fetch modus as a weapon, cycling through his inventory until it launches the hammerhead at the imp to defeat it. That bunny will constantly be put back in the box for its entire existence, and John levels up on his etch-a-ladder. John fixes his hammer, and apparently bunny kind is added to his Strife portfolio. Huh, a bunny as a weapon? How silly can you be? Meanwhile, Rose made it to the mausoleum and kicks Jaspers' taxidermied corpse off its pedestal so she can get back online. Wait, John's door is fixed? Since when? Oop, bucket. Oh, hi, Nana. Dave contacts Rose. Dave might be developing a fear of puppets. John talks to Nana Sprite, revived due to being added to the Colonel Sprite. She tells him Dad was kidnapped by imps and that the Spurb software transported the house to the medium, a realm that just came to be and, paradoxically, always existed. See, there's this war between the forces of good and evil over a place called Skaia that's been in an eternal stalemate, but now that John is here, things can finally heat up. The Colonel Sprite entered the medium and hatched, sending its prototyped information to the respective kingdoms, changing the abilities of their people and the shape of the Skaian battlefield itself. That's why all the imps look like jesters. This war can go full swing now, but the good side is fated to lose unless heroes like John can turn the tide. So he must build up through the 7 gates and reach Skaia and solve the ultimate riddle. "Then I can save the Earth from destruction, right?" says John. "Hoo-hoo, John," says Nana. "No! The Earth is doomed! Welcome to Homestuck! Everyone's dead! Nana's gonna bake some cookies now."